Hello, hope I'm gone live in the right place in the right time. If you can let me know, that would be great. At the moment, oh yeah, I'm just looking for the comments. So I'm Jen from Jen's Bakey Cakey. Thank you all for being here. Hi, good morning Cake Expo. Is everything okay so far? I hope so. The light and all, but and you can hear me fine. So I'm Jen from Jen's Bakey Cakey, and today I am going to be doing a demonstration on cake painting, and I'm going to be doing a little castle and a rainbow. So I'll show you that cake now. Yeah, see Ed? Yeah. Now, so if you can see, good morning. So this is the cake that we'll be doing today. The light's not amazing here today. I do apologise. Hi Jennifer. Oh, thanks so much. Happy to be here. So the light's not great, but you can see here's the cow, and here is the castle with the rainbow. You see up here? It's a translucent rainbow and the castle. So we're going to be doing that today, and we're going to be painting the little cow. Hello everybody. So it's a lot to get through in an hour and a half. Good morning. So we're just going to fly through it so I can show you as much as possible. I'll start off with the cow, and then we're going to go probably to do the castle, which is made out of modelling chocolate. So if you want to get your modelling chocolate out, go ahead and we can make that together. Caroline, cute. Ah, thank you. Talking about me or my cake. So with my painting, we're going to be painting with cocoa butter. So if anybody's used cocoa butter before, it's a thing I mix with Petal Dust. So you know those dusts you buy for like your flowers, your sugar flowers. So it's them. So I'll show you them all now. So here's some of the Petal Dust that I use. I use loads of different brands. Magic Colours, Square's Kitchen. You can get them in any cake shop, any cake equipment shop, in whatever country you're in, Amazon, eBay, or go directly to online shops in whatever country you're in. Good morning, Becky. So they're the dusts I'm going to be using, and then I'm going to be using the cocoa butter. So what I'm going to do now, this is how I use cocoa butter. There's two different ways to melt this cocoa butter down. Okay, so any questions, I might be able to read them. Give me a shout. So for me, I like to just boil hot water, this boiling water. It's all right, I can't feel any pain anymore from isomalt and hot water and just being a baker. Good morning. Oh, hi Jennifer, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Let me know if everything's okay. I'm sure at this stage you can hear me, or people would have been saying it. And then I just get a big cereal bowl, a deep bowl, and then I use a plate, a dinner plate. And I'm going to turn the camera around in a minute to show you my painting, but I'm just going to explain everything first, okay? And then I use my dinner plate, and I put it on top, place it on top of the hot water, okay? It's that easy, okay? And then I get my cocoa butter, and you can there's loads of different brands you can get. This is the Saraceno one and the Square's Kitchen one, and I love these both. You can buy cocoa butter in health food shops all around the world. I'm sure you can get them in Ireland anyway, and they're about €5 to €10, but they last a very long time when you're painting. So these are the ones I use, and today I'm just going to cut this cocoa butter out, okay? And I'm just going to put it on top of my bowl, in the middle of the bowl. This is the way I do it. Other artists do it completely different than me, but this is the way I like to paint. So I put it in the middle of the bowl, and then I'm going to put my dusts all around here, okay? So I'm just going to demonstrate that. So today for the cow, we're going to be using obviously black and white, okay? So here's my white, and I'm going to put the camera down in 2 seconds. I just want to explain a few things. And then the black, okay? We're going to be using blues and yellows, loads of different colours for the cow. Colours you wouldn't expect to use for a cow, but just to give it a more realistic look, okay? So we're going to use yellows, a bit of creams, blues for the highlights, and the black, okay? So they're the colours we're going to use. So what I do, I just sprinkle my colours, divide them here and here and here all around. So I probably have 8 colours here. And that will be my palette for the cow. Okay. So today I'm not painting on a cake because it's harder to see. So I'm just going to paint on this board. You can see my cow is drawn on. So draw on your cow whatever way. If you transfer your image or you just freehand style this. We have a lot to do today, but I'll talk about transferring while I'm doing the painting. So this is the cow, if you can see him. So I just have this on fondant. So when you're painting with cocoa butter, you can paint on fondant. You can't paint on buttercream because it's so hot that it will melt. It will totally melt the buttercream. And then you can paint on ganache, dry ganache, and then cooled ganache. And chocolate, paint on chocolate. It's great. It works really well on chocolate. And the thing I found out, not recently, but last year, you can paint cocoa butter and use it on wafer paper. So if any of you do flowers or paint on wafer paper, I paint little fish on wafer paper or whatever. It works really well because if you use, you know, your vodka or anything for wafer paper or water, you can only use a little bit and then it just melts the wafer paper completely. But cocoa butter doesn't do that because it's fat. Okay, so let's paint this. I think I'm going to move the camera around for this part. If you just give me, bear with me for a second and we'll get motoring. Okay. This will be a big challenge. Hold on one second. This is my... Now, ignore the studio. It's a bit of a mess today. Yeah. I think I need to invest in one of those mounts. Okay, so let me know now if you can see this properly in a second. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Yeah. So, 1 second there, be witches. So let me know if any of you have painted with cocoa butter before. It's a great medium. It's my favourite. It nearly looks like oil paints. Hope you can see that there fine. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Lighting all good, yeah. Hi, Carrie. Hi, everybody. Yes, we can. Perfect. Delighted. Let's do this. Okay, so paintbrushes. So when it comes to paintbrushes, it can be a minefield sometimes, but what I do, okay, so I actually get a lot of my paintbrushes from art shops and stuff because I don't sell my cakes anymore. But if you're selling your cakes, I'd recommend getting your paintbrushes from like cake stores just because they're food grade and the little hairs don't fall out and they can get stuck in your cocoa butter once the cocoa butter is dry. So that's very important, as you know yourself. I would stay away from the animal hair paintbrushes, but if you do want to go to a shop, you can buy the synthetic hairbrushes, okay? So buy the synthetic hairbrushes. Don't buy oil colour brushes because they're too hard and stubbly and they will damage your cake and damage the fondant or whatever you're painting on. Okay, I would buy watercolour paintbrushes or acrylic paintbrushes. But again, if just to be sure, I would stay with the food grade ones if possible, okay? Now, so these are the paintbrushes I'm going to be using today. I have a variety of different ones. I have the flat brush and I have the round top brushes. And then just, I like my really skinny ones. Do I have one here? I'll get one in a second. That one's not small enough. That would be just for the details of the eyes. But this is kind of for beginners. So this is a pretty easy painting we're going to be doing today, just for people who want to start off painting on cakes, okay? So let's get stuck into it here. Okay. I want to get my paints in shot as well, so just give me a second. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so we have the cow here. And I'm going to get some cream to start off with, okay? Let's find our cream. So any questions, just fire ahead there. so many colours. I can't. Okay. So here's the cream I'm going to be using. It literally just says cream. Okay. So I'm just going to mix the cream into the cocoa butter. It's nothing too fancy. There you go. And a bit of white, okay? There we go. Nothing too crazy there. And that's too creamy for me. So what you have to do with your image, so if you're painting a cow, I would just print off the image that you're going to paint and stick it on a wall or anywhere that like you can see it properly, you know, from a bit of a distance so you can see the full picture. So print off the image of your cow and you have to keep referencing the cow, okay? Don't just keep looking at your cake and thinking, oh, I know exactly what a cow looks like. Because the truth is, when we're painting, the best way to get a realistic image is to keep looking every few seconds at your reference. And that's what artists do. If you watch a video of a cake artist, you'll see that they're constantly looking into at their reference every few seconds, not like 5 times in the whole time they paint. Because you notice people who have never really painted before, they'll just keep looking at their painting and they'll concentrate on the details in their painting. They won't look up at all. And then they'll stand back from their image and they go, that doesn't look like a cow at all. That looks like, I don't know, a butterfly or a horse or something, you know. So let's move on to this. Okay, so you can see the cow. I'm just double making sure. So this is kind of simple for the cow. We're just going to add a few colours, different colours, but I'm just going to start painting lightly. I know it'll be hard to see with the white or the cream, but we're just going to keep going. We're going to layer up nearly like an oil painting, okay? So I don't paint just with one layer, like watercolour. With this, I like to build up my paints, okay? So all I'm doing here, I'm just going in the direction of where I drew the cow. Nothing too crazy here. No fancy paintbrush strokes. We're nearly just to start off with colouring in, getting a base colour down, okay? That's what I'm trying to do here. Okay? That's simple. Beautiful cow, okay? Again, with your paints and for your cocoa butter paints, it dries really fast on your paintbrush. And when it dries really fast on your paintbrush, what will happen is it will get really hard and some of your bristles will stick out and they'll set like that and you'll ruin your expensive paintbrushes, because for a paintbrush it can be €8 for one good paintbrush. So you want to keep these for a good while. So what you keep doing as you're painting, I just take it off to make sure, this is just kitchen paper, make sure that it doesn't set and it doesn't ruin your paintbrush. And if you want to clean the paintbrushes, you have to put it under lukewarm water, not boiling water, because I used to paint when I was younger with oils and stuff. So if you paint with boiling water, it will ruin the bristles on your paintbrushes as well. So what you need to do is soapy water and warm water to clean these paintbrushes and get the cocoa butter off, okay? So I hope that helps everybody. On to the next part. Let's get some, I'm going to get yellow, okay? So next part, I'm going to get this lemon yellow and I'm going to just mix it back in to my cocoa butter. Now I use a lot of white, so if you do paint at all with this medium, what you have to do is buy a lot of white, trust me. So here's the white and the yellow and I'm just going to mix it in there. Okay. That's too yellow for me, so more white will be good, okay? Yeah. And again, how do I know that this is too white for me? With the image in front of you, the print off image of the cow, what you can do, right? I don't actually have an image of the cow besides my cake, but I'll just find an image. Hold on there, 1 second. Okay, 1 second. Sorry, guys. Where's my image gone? I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm not leaving you. I'm still here. So here's another pig. There's a cartoon pig. So say if I wanted, say this was like a portrait or something, and we were looking for the colours. So here's a darker pink and here's a light pink. So I'm going to try and mix the colours on my palette there and find these colours. And what you do, once you find a pink you think looks like that colour, you get the pink, I don't have pink here, but, and place it onto your print off, the image you have in front of you, and you can just mark it there and find the colour. So say, oh, that pink's really close, or that pink's completely different, you know? So you're giving yourself an idea, are you close to that colour that you want, okay? That can help sometimes. So, the next part. So what I'm doing here, I'm just layering up the cocoa butters to give a three-dimensional look of the image. And in, like, when we look at cows, they do look white from afar, but when you go close to them, you can see so many different shades in their colour, you know, in their the colour of their hair. I don't really know much about cows, even though I live in Ireland. There's a lot around. And then I'm just putting little highlights there. So that yellow is intended there for just highlights of where the sun will be hitting our lovely cow. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to have to keep an eye on the time because we have to finish this and then make the castle. And then I'm going to use a little bit of blue. I'm going to use this blue here. Okay, royal blue. You can use any blue. I just need a darker blue. And just mix that into my white again because I don't want it really dark, okay? We'll have to find this, the blue and the white. I'm going to mix that into just the white there. Just I need a little blue, just a little light blue there, in with the yellow as well. Then here, it's a bit darker there on his nose part. Need to find out the anatomy of a horse and what to call different parts. Yeah. Okay. Now. Again, I'm just getting my white out. I'm going back in on over the blue just slightly because I put too much blue there. And now I'm going to get white for the really bright highlights, okay? Now, I'm going to come back to this part and we're going to move into the dark part of the cow, okay? So I'm just going to put a base down of a little bit of white and a little bit of black, okay? Mixed together. So we're not going to start off pitch black, okay? Again, it's just about, at the moment, we're just kind of colouring in the cow, you know? Just following the lines. Just checking if there's any greetings from Nigeria. I think, yeah, just checking the comments there. Hello, Nigeria. How are you? Yeah. I wonder what time it is over there. It's quite early. Well, it's 9 a.m. over here in Ireland. So early for me, even with 3 kids. I tend to get a lie in sometimes. Well, since COVID anyway. We've been home, so my partner's been here and I got a few lie-ins. It's been magical. Now, there he is. Now, I'm going to make different parts of it darker. So you're just going to go in and I'm going to mix my black, okay, a bit of black with the blue. And we're just going to combine. The blue part is going to be the highlights on the cow's back where the sun is hitting his back, okay? And a little bit of white as well. So we have 2 shades there, okay? If you can see that perfectly, grand. So from my image, and there's a bit here, the light's hitting his top of his ear and here, okay? And before the cocoa butter dries, because the cocoa butter dries pretty fast now, It'll dry in about, it depends. It dries 30 seconds. It can dry 30 seconds or 1 minute. It depends on your climate. So now in the summer, it's hot. So when it's hotter, it tends to stay wetter longer. And then in the winter, it can dry really fast. And that can be hard when we're doing this method of mixing colours together, nearly like an oil painting, because we want to be able to blend the colours in, you know. So you'll get your own flow and what you need to do when you start painting. It can take a little while, but you'll get used to it, you know. It took me, a few weeks. So you can see here, it's taking up some of my paint. Can you see there? Okay, 9:20 in Nigeria. All right, okay. So here it's taking up some of my paint, okay? So what happened here was I didn't let this, you see, it's a fine line, okay, of mixing and taking off your paint. So I needed this a little bit dry, but it was too wet. Do you know what I mean? So it took up my underpainting. So it's harder than oils. Like, people find oils hard to paint with. Oh, cocoa butter is harder, but I mean, by harder you'll get used to it. Don't worry about it. But it's just one of those things you have to practice with. Okay. Sorry, a bit of brown got mixed in there, but don't worry about that. Now, as well with cocoa butter, this is a big one, especially if you sell your cakes. Cocoa butter after you painting can melt, okay, guys? So it's happened to me a few times. I'll show you a cake later. When you paint your painting, if you put it near a window, say, which I've done many times, put it, well, not near a window, but directed at a window. And once the sun comes in and hits your cake, the whole painting that you've done, spent hours on, will melt, completely melt. So, not to scare you, but what you need to do is just make sure that's not in direct sunlight, okay? So, I've had cakes with cocoa butter paintings for a very long time. So, like, for a year, but I didn't have it near a window or outside, basically. So, as well, just treat it like chocolate. The way you would treat chocolate, it melts like that, okay? So that's a big tip that I had to learn the hard way, and I hope none of you lose some great paintings from that, you know. And then if you're bringing it off in the car somewhere, just put it in a box and make sure no direct sunlight can be at it, you know. Okay. Now, you see there? Yeah. So we'll come back to this now. The base colour is down. Actually, I missed the ear, sorry. So I'm just getting the black and a little bit of blue, and I'm just going in on the ear here. I'm going to make this a bit more blue. And then a little bit of black, okay? Darken up the colours here. So just going to wait for that to dry a bit so I can, yeah, there we go. Now, let's get my smaller paintbrush just for the more detailed parts like the eye, okay? And then just with the eye, I'm just going to outline it with a bit of blue and black. Okay, just going to go here. Now, nothing too hard there. We're just going over the paint, the drawing you have down, okay? Now, there we go. And then I'm going to, so with the cow, his whites of his eyes are pretty dark. So all I'm going to do is mix in a little bit of white and a bit of black. Okay, we're going to make it grey, a dark grey colour for his the whites of his eyes. Most of our eyes are actually pretty, the colours, we think they're white, but they're quite grey. This is how you make it more realistic. So we're going to put grey in here. Okay, and even a little bit darker around the sides. I need to get more black on my paintbrush there. And just darker underneath here where the shadows are. Then I'm just gonna, his eye here, it's quite big and black. So we're just gonna place that in there. That needs another coat, so I'm gonna wait for that to dry for a second. And then while I'm doing that, a little bit of blue and white and black, mix them in together. And we're going to come in here. Just going to trace around the image. So we don't want to lose the eye because the eye just looks black at the moment. All the things you have to think about here. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of white and a little bit of black again, just to highlight here a bit more. Put the little highlight here. Take your time with painting, you know, it's not something that you rush into, you know. I'm going to be doing this cake pretty fast, but when I done it for my cake, it took me around 2 hours to paint him. Actually, well, I would say an hour and a half. I was pretty fast with this cow, but still, you know, I'm going to be doing this, trying to finish this up soon. Move on to the castle. Okay, now I'm going to make his eye darker here. It's quite warm here today, so my paints aren't drying as fast as I would like them to. There we go. Yep. See there? Perfect. And then just for his eye here, I'm just going to put a little watered down. We're going to make it, excuse me, that's fine. My cocoa butter. See, my cocoa butter is starting to dry on my plate now, so I'll have to heat the kettle now in a second and do that again. So, don't worry, we'll try and get this done now. Then the little dot, even a skinnier brush, and you're just putting a little dot there, okay? I'll put it over, make the little circle more so. Yeah. Just going to paint this part in here black. Here black. So, he's looking crazy now, but what we have to do is get white, and we're going to define his eye. Painting is something, even like for me, something that you really need to concentrate and take your time with, you know. Yeah. There are the highlights around his eyes. Sorry. And just look back at it there. Move it back so you can see what it looks like. It's hard to see it from this angle for myself, but just giving you the gist of what to do, you know. It's much better when the cake is standing up and you can see direct on and see what you're painting. You're not leaning over your head over trying to see and standing back every 2 minutes. So I love painting on cake. It's like a canvas standing up, you know. Yeah. Making this darker here. Just highlighting areas to define the eye parts. The light is hitting them. Okay. Then I'm going to go in with the black. If I can find a skinnier paintbrush. Seems to have disappeared. And I'm just going to put the lines around his eyes to define them. I need to let this dry a little bit and get more black. Where's my black gone? There it is. Okay. Trying to think, is there anything else you need to know about paints at the moment? At the moment I think we're good. Pop back into my head all the other stuff, wouldn't it? Okay. Then just, I'm going to get the grey again, And we're just going to find his mouth area. This is not finished, don't worry. This is a process, a long process in painting where I do layer it up. It's all an illusion. Now I'm getting just the white again and the cream. Just going to go down here. And cream, a bit darker, maybe a little bit of brown under his chin. I don't know if you call it a chin. Yeah. I'm just going to define some of these areas here. More outlines there, a bit more black. Just using the black now to kind of define where I want his shape of his patterns on him. And in here as well. So when the cocoa butter will dry on your plate in about half an hour. It dries pretty fast, so you will have to go back again and heat that up. You know, whether you put the water in the microwave or if you just use the kettle again, it's up to you. Okay. Now, just putting in the areas, just show myself where the shadows will be on the cow. I'll be very quiet now, sorry about that. Might have to let him dry for a minute and we'll come back to him. Just keep an eye on the time and I'll come back. So this, I'm making this part here grey with a bit of blue. And I'll show a bit of cream there and a bit of yellow. Many different colours here. This is a very gestural painting at the moment. If I was to do a bit more realistic painting, it would definitely take about 2 to 3 hours, you know. So, really want to get onto the rainbow. This is just to give you an idea on painting on cakes. I'll show you how the cow was meant to look like within 2 hours, but you get the idea. And I do really like in-depth demos on my class. Just on my page I do a few free demos and stuff. So if you just want to really have a look at more in depth about painting on cakes, give me a shout. I'm going to put a bit of cream and red. Just a little bit of red. I'm using the poppy red here. And just a tiny bit of red, not too much. And white. And a little bit of your cream then. I actually want to mix some brown into that. This is just for his nose. I'm going to be painting in here. Okay. Need that a bit more red in there. Okay. I'm going to get some brown. I'm not really liking that cream, to be honest with you. So I'm just using just a dark brown. There's no specific name on this one. So it's actually just like a, oh my cow. It's just like a chocolate brown. Okay. Mix it into my cocoa butter. I'm just going to kind of add some more brown colour into skin to give more definition. Now all my paints are getting quite muddy now, which is what we don't want. And if I was just doing this properly, I would go and wash my plate now with boiling hot water. Just clean your plate off, and I will just rinse off then. How's this cow looking? Yeah, I melted the cocoa butter at the start with hot water. So if you just at the end, you'll be able to like go back and have a look there at how I done that. Okay, so that's melted on there. Okay, cool. Need to find this cow. Where are you, cow? You're looking a bit funky. So see here, it's still very translucent. We'd do another coat of what I done there, you know, to make it darker. I have to check the time now in 2 minutes. Times like this, I miss having a watch. So I'm just going to go in here and make this darker here, okay? Because just looks a bit, you can just see the fondant underneath the cake, which is not what I want at all. Okay. Yeah. There's a few different ways to melt cocoa butter. This is just the way I prefer. But I have another item here. I'll show you in a second what I use to have the cocoa butter constantly melted. So I'll show you that now in a few minutes. Okay. That's grand. Just do that there. Want the air out here. Now I'm just going to highlight that air again in a second. I'm going to go with my black and a bit of brown mixed together. And I'm just going to make this darker here, okay? More shadow here. Just around the nose. You see that there? Oh, I'm out of shot. Sorry, lads. Okay. See how muddy that is? That was meant to be white. So please clean your plates, unlike me. I'm just going to put a bit of brown, dark brown, here for the shadows. Going back to fix the eye, don't worry. Excuse my silence for a second. I'm just trying to make him look like a cow in the short amount of time that I have. So I'm just going to put a bit of dark up here, just so it looks like a shadow. And also we'll define him slightly. So that's a bit of brown and a little bit of blue mixed in together. I'm just going to kind of blend it out a bit. So by blending it, sorry, I need that a bit cleaner. Just getting the cocoa butter onto my paintbrush and I'm brushing it out, okay? A little bit of white in there just to blend out that colour, okay? Yeah. Need to fix that eye, it's driving me crazy. Bit of white. And then for the nostril, get your black, a little bit of blue mixed into it. You want this looking like shadows. Here there's a shadow, a bit darker, and you need to blend this a little bit. A little bit of your yellow and your cream to blend in the shadow. I'm kind of mixing the two colours in together to get a blend. So the brown and your cream, we need to blend them in together. Yeah. Let's see what that looks like here. It's kind of looking like a cow. Let's try and fix his eye. Yeah, I'm gonna move this up here. Okay, and I'm gonna just put more black on it to define his shape, this cow's pattern on himself. And a bit of blue and white mixed together. Just going to put a bit of a highlight here on his ear. And a highlight here as well. And again, if that's too highlighty, you can blend that in. Just with a bit of your blue and black mixed in together, and just blend them in together, okay? I'm going to get just pure white, and I'm going to try and fix his eye slightly. Oh no, I'm going in with black, sorry. It's all about decision making. You can change your mind, and the good thing is with cocoa butter paints, you can just paint over. If you think, oh, that's a mistake, I need to fix that, or that doesn't look right, you're just painting over what you've done, okay? Or if you want to, you can also just scrape it off with a knife, okay? Because the cocoa butter is quite thick, so you don't have to really worry about ruining your cake when you're, when you're scraping it off. Just don't go too deep, obviously. You don't want a big hole in your fondant, you know? Okay. Now, I think we'll come back to this if we have time at the end. That was just a quick demonstration. I would actually put more highlights into the cake there, into the cow, if I had the time. But that's basically him there. So I'm just going to move him to one side for a second. Bye-bye, cow. So that was the kind of a demonstration on cocoa butter paints. I hope it helps some of you. And I'm sure as my demo goes on, I will definitely think of more ways to more kind of like tricks to give you. So I'm just going to go on to my next part, which is I'm going to move the camera the other way. Actually, it's easier for you to see, which is my castle. So we go and do the castle now. If you give me a second to set up now. Yeah. But follow me over to this side. This side of my table. Here we go. Really hope that helped you now. I think I'm going to 100% vest in a stand so I can teach you better. I hope you were able to see that painting clearly. Yeah. Oh, no problem. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it helped. I'm going to, if somebody can actually, no, I'll show you. So here is kind of what the cow looks like on my cake. And we're going to move into the castle and the rainbow, which is much more fun to do because it's kind of faster. Whereas like if you're painting again, you need to like take your time and enjoy the process, you know, don't rush it. Make some time for yourself and practice. Okay, so that's the cow. That's what I done there. It was a quick demonstration, and we'll go on to the castle. Okay, so with the castle I use modelling chocolate. And you need to clean your hands because you get your modelling chocolate dirty. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. The lovely comments. Thank you. I'm happy you understood and you could see everything properly, you know. So we'll just move into the castle now. And then I'm going to wash my hands really fast. So I don't know if I will actually, because I usually wash your hands. I'm sure you are all sure. Wash your hands when you're dealing with white modelling chocolate, because obviously it will stain the chocolate, and it depends on what colour you want whatever you're making. So this is going to be grey and black, so I'm not even going to wash my hands. I usually do, just don't be wasting time, you know. Okay, so I don't want to keep this in my hands too long because it will melt. And Carol, thank you so much. Really appreciate that lovely comment. Thank you. So it will melt really fast. I want it to be pretty hard when I'm modelling the castle. As well, when you're modelling the castle, you want it to be sturdy. I just like modelling chocolate. I would probably use pastillage because it's so hard, and you can cut out the panels and build it up if you're making a really big castle, you know. Thank you, Nancy, thank you. But today I'm going to use modelling chocolate because that's what I used for this castle, okay? So, I'm going to have to move this thing again. I'm trying to think, yeah, okay. I'm just going to move it down so you won't be able to see my face, okay? There we go. Beautiful. Need a cameraographer to help me with this next time. Okay, so I'm just going to roll this out, okay? Nothing too fancy. Get my rolling pin. Move everything out of the way. So, move you over here. Move everything out of the way. You can see I'm a very organised cake decorator. This is what happens when you stop selling your cakes. You literally, you know, you don't have to go by the health guidelines anymore because you're just doing it for competitions and stuff, so, and demonstrations and classes. But anyway, be clean, I'm sure you know. I'm just going to actually, it's breaking up a little bit, so I'm just going to mould it a little bit. Now, again, I don't want it, it's quite warm today. I don't want this to start melting on me because it is basically chocolate, you know, chocolate and syrup. So, here we go. So, I'm going to turn my cake around so I can have a reference. So, what you want to do, pick any castle you want, whatever castle in the world for a reference point, print it out and copy your castle. So I'm just going to roll out my modelling chocolate, and I want this thick, okay? There's a few ways to do this, but this is the way I'm doing it today, okay? I want it quite thick, and then I'm going to just cut out, I'm making a panel. Now this cake, I'm just copying the castle that I showed you there on my cake, okay? And I'm just going to cut out and make this shape, okay? We'll need it a bit straighter. Okay. It's going to be a small little castle, and the reason I have it so small is because I want to look like, on my cake, it looks like it's from a distance, okay? So it's not a big castle, it's a castle on a mountaintop very far away, okay? So that is the idea of the small castle, okay? So I'm just going to pick a modelling tool, okay? I'm just going with like a Dresden type modelling tool, okay? And I want this small part here, okay? See me? Now I'm just going to put in the stones. Don't worry, I'll show you in a second what I'm doing. It's nothing too fancy, okay? And this is too fat-ended, so I need a skinnier one. Apologies. I'm going to use this one. It's a bit sharper on the end, okay? And I'm just putting lines through my fondant. I'm actually going to make them smaller. They're too thick, so I want it looking really like really small blocks. So if you can see there, they're just lines through it. Thanks so much for showing us how to use cocoa butter to paint. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy you learned something. I really appreciate it. I just really wanted to give everybody an idea of how to use the paints, because they can be quite hard to work with at the start, but you'll get used to them. And the cocoa butters, they're hard to find. You can even get it in a health shop. You don't have to get it in like a cake shop equipment. So get that and your dust and just practice. Just put a bit of fondant on your table. You don't even have to put it on a cake board, and just go for it and enjoy it at the start, you know. So put the lines through this block here, as I showed you, and then I'm just going to put them horizontally down, straight down. Okay, really simple. That's your wall. Again, look at your reference. Some stone walls would be circular, kind of older ones in Ireland. Sometimes they were literally like stones, not blocks, like, you know, blocks that they are now today. So you'd nearly just make the shape of a circle, and like, don't be too specific with it, you know, because they're all different shapes and sizes. But for this castle, I'm just going to make them, and you know, I want them, the lines, not to see the way I made them perfect there. I'll show you next time. I don't even want them like that. I want them wibbly and wobbly, okay? And then what I'm going to do here, so I'm going to get, just to make the, sorry, 1 second. So I need tin foil. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to go and grab it now. I thought I had it. Okay, 1 second, guys. Never trust your partner to set up your table. that was my fault. Okay, so can't find the tin foil at the moment, but what you would do with the tin foil, okay, you would scrimple up the tin foil, I'll get some in a second, and you would dab it into the modelling chocolate, okay, just to give it texture. But instead I'm just going to use this little tool that I have. You can get them in any kind of art shop. They're usually used for sculpting, and I'm just going to prickle this, okay, just to give it some sort of kind of rocky texture, because I don't have my tin foil. But usually I use tin foil and I scrimple it up into a ball and just press on this to give it texture, okay, but this will do fine for now. Okay, so you can kind of see texture coming into the walls there, okay. And a toothbrush, if you have a toothbrush, that will do fine as well. A clean toothbrush, so don't just use the one you have up in your bathroom. Again, don't know where my toothbrush is, but I'm going to use this because it's has more hairs, so I want even more texture into this, okay. That's grand, it's a bit of paint on that. Okay, so I'm going to make it into like a sphere shape, and we're going to mold that, okay. We're just going to basically stick that together, okay, with our dressing tool. And then just leave it to one side to dry to get hard, okay? Just blending the two sides in together so they stick nicely, okay? Yeah. I'm going to, which I didn't do, get my dressing tool again. And we're just going to put a little hole in here. It's really simple actually. Just a little hole in here. I'm going to turn the camera, it's a bit bright. Apologies. Need to close the curtain over a bit. I'm going to put a little hole in it. That will be where the window is. That's simple. And again, it's just a little gestural. Nothing fancy. You don't have to like get an exact shape, because the holes in Ireland and the castles in Ireland were quite small for like in the castles, so like when people are attacking them, they won't be able to shoot them. But I know it's horrible, but that's why they were small, so they could put their weapon outside, you know. So they're the ones, the castles in Ireland, you know, the way they are. So little small, and it's in the distance anyway, so that will be that part there. I'll leave that there to dry. Go on to the next part. I'm just going to show you the castle again so you have an idea for the people that have just joined me. So you have an idea of what I'm trying to achieve. Give me 1 second. Yeah, sorry the back isn't done. This was, can you see the castle? Hello. Yeah, so that's it there. It's meant to be in the distance, quite small, you know. If you go onto my page, Jen's Bakey Cakey, you'll be able to see what it looks like properly. Okay, so the next part of the castle. If Jennifer's there or any admins there, can you, just because I don't have my watch, so organised. Yesterday was a crazy day. Can you tell me how much longer I have? Just, I don't want to be running out of time. Thank you so much. Because I really want to show you the rainbow, because that is my favourite part of the whole cake. So on to the next part. Rolling it out again. Need it pretty thick, okay? Just going to cut out here straight lines. And then I'm going to make this wall small actually. Yeah. Okay. This is the next part of the castle. I'm just sticking on the wall here, okay? Again, we're doing the exact same thing with the lines. I'm going to make them a bit more wobbly this time than straight. I don't want them too straight. And I kind of want them a bit deeper than I was doing the first time actually. I want them a little bit deeper, okay? You You see the lines there? Just straight across with your dressing tool. Then I'm just making little blocks, okay? Just going down, making it little indentations. Okay, that's it. And then get your tin foil and scrap it all up in a ball. Where's my tin foil? I need to find some. Okay. Again, you can use this. You can be inventive with this, you know. You could use, you know what, hold on. So I'm just going to use this parchment baking paper instead for a second. And just scribble it up. This will work fine. The reason I use the tin foil is it's a bit stronger and a bit harder. It can make more indentations, but this will be fine for now, okay? Just making some marks there into my wall, okay? Then my lines have disappeared slightly, so I just kind of want to mark them out again. And these lines don't have to be perfect because it's a castle. We want them to be all kind of looking broken and disheveled, you know. And then even at the top, I'm just going to push down on the chocolate, okay, just to make it look some of the stones or whatever kind of broken and old, okay. So it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the opposite of what we want. Like these castles are, how old are they? Thousands of years old? 2000? I don't know, I should know a bit more of history. Okay, and it's simple. I'm just going to stick these together, okay? You don't need any glue or anything for this, or edible glue, because modeling chocolate, you just blend it together and it sticks fine. Again, I'm just going to put 2 windows in this by using my pointy part of my dressing tool. And I'm just kind of making a longer, I'll show you now, longer window, so just a line down and down. Okay, there you go. Then we're just going to stick them together. Okay, blending this side, the front and the back. Nothing too difficult, pretty easy. And stand up. This is why I kind of wanted some thicker, so he's can stand up on his own freely without a structure inside it, okay? Yeah. So at the moment I'm using Saraceno modeling chocolate. That's what I have on hand. That is perfect. Yeah. Yeah. So just blend him in there and you leave him off to dry, okay? Yeah. Just have a look. Okay. On to the next part. I'm going to make a little smaller cylinder. I'm going to leave him off to dry. There's my little castle. It doesn't look like much yet, but once you start painting it, it really starts, it looks so realistic, okay? So I'm going to make a little cylinder actually, so I'm just going to roll this out. It's going to be smaller than the first one I made. I'm just coming up with any old castle, to be honest with you. If you want to do this, it's just copy a castle, you know, you make your cylinders taller, smaller, you know, it's nothing, it's not too hard, it's not too complicated, you just really copy in the image here, whatever shape you want. So I'm just going to make a little small cylinder here for the next part of the house, okay, or the castle. So rolled that out, and again we're going to do this really fast, and we're going to get on to painting now in a second, okay, and we're just going to put the lines in again. And then you put in your texture the way we've done that before, and you put in your window if you want, okay, and I'm not going to put a window in again, and I'm just going to roll it and I'm going to blend it, okay. Thank you everybody for joining me. Hello, hello. Yeah, there we go. And we're just going to blend that in really fast. See here, just the little marks there, the little line going through. We just want to blend that in together so the seam is gone and it looks seamless. Okay, cool. Here you go, ladies and gents. So, oh look, it's kind of bent here, so I'm just putting the dressing tool in, rolling it out, kind of getting that It's okay. It's okay. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. The castle is old and dishevelled, okay? And you're going to put that in there. And then I'm going to just put some indentations in the top again to make it look a bit older. Okay. Modeling chocolate can be tricky sometimes if your hands are hot like mine and start melting on you. So sometimes I'll actually just, if it starts kind of melting or collapsing on you because I don't have structure on the inside because it's so small, I will just put it aside and not near any heat and let it cool down, okay? Let it cool down for a little while, and then 20 minutes, 10 minutes, you can get back into it again. Okay. Just attaching the tower into the wall. Turn it around. You know, don't forget to do both sides. So I've done just the front of the wall here, made the texture and the lines. Do the back of the wall as well. Just you want it, you know, to have a finish off look. Okay. So I'm just going to blend it so we can get painting. So what I use to paint this, sometimes I use cocoa butter and dust, but I actually didn't for this. I used vodka and my dust. So we're going to go and do that now. I also, I'm just going to blend this in. Again, something like this would probably take me, again, that took me about 2.5 hours. I really took my time with that castle, but this is giving you the gist of what I've done really fast, okay? And what I would do, I'm going to check my time now. I would finish the cake, show you now, the castle, by making another wall here, okay? And then a big tall cylinder maybe at the back, you know. These castles are old, so they don't have any like roofs on them, obviously, so we're not going to go into all that. Okay. Just something for 1 second. Just going to check the time. Yeah. Again, if anybody can just write how long I have, any admin if you're on, that would be amazing. Don't want to go over time and run in. Should just cut me off anyway if I go over time, you know. I don't run into any other artist's time. So I'll finish that in a second because we want to do the rainbow. So I'm going to go on to the dusts and we're going to paint the castle, okay? So I'm just going to use a little bit of vodka. It has to be a high percentage vodka because it mixes well with your dusts to make your paint, okay? And don't worry about the vodka. It evaporates when it goes on the cake. It literally just disappears. Just if you think of children, and you're not even using a smidgen of that, what I put in there, that much, and it disappears just to mix in the dusts, okay? So I'm going to get my black dusts, petal dusts, and white. My white dust. This is Square's Kitchen here. Loads of difference. Oh, so this is white. This is actually, I think this is sparkly. No, it's not good. Okay, don't want any glitter in this cake. Yeah. Too much there. Too much vodka. Okay. I would recommend doing this on a plate. So that's too grey for me. I want more white. Okay. This is just me looking at an image of a castle on the internet, one in Ireland. Just going to make kind of grey colour. And I want this very watery, okay? So just so it goes on like watercolour. Okay. Now, you'd obviously wait for this to dry a little bit, but it's simple. I'm just going to paint him on there, okay? I'm just painting that grey colour on to start off with. If you have a spray gun, you can just, I would spray it nearly like a dark grey at the start so it gets into all those little crevices that we made. Okay. And just paint the whole thing, everybody. Then what I do, okay, once I have that all painted with my grey colour, these are all great little tips and tricks for you. So you get a bit of your kitchen roll and you just wipe that castle down, okay? So I'm going to take off some of that paint basically, and it helps it go into the crevices of your castle, okay? See that there? 30 minutes. 30 minutes break between the demos, so you still have a few minutes. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I really appreciate that. Great. Okay. Amazing. So I'm going to wipe that down a little bit. Okay. So then that will help the paint. It'll take off a bit of paint and it'll make it look old and rustic. And then it will kind of makes all the paint have different shades and different colours. Okay. I'm going to go in with a bit more black dusts mixed into the white and to make a bit of a darker grey, nearly a black. I have another one here. No, I won't use that one actually for now. Okay, got a blacker colour. Actually, I want a different, skinnier paintbrush. Okay. Nearly black, but not quite black. Okay. I push this a bit closer for you. And then I'm going to water it down with a bit more. It's too thick for me. Water it down with the vodka. Just having a look now. And I'm going to go into the windows, okay? So, if you see the windows where I painted them, I'm just going to colour them in like that, okay? Like that. Can you see the castle, or will I move the oh thanks Kerry, will I move the camera a bit for you? And I'm just, don't forget I'm using the vodka to kind of blend in everything and to make it more watercolory. So I'm going to get black and a lot of vodka like on that. It's not a lot obviously, but very watery. And I'm going to do a wash completely over that grey that we done, okay? So, I'm just going to wash over here. Completely covering the castle. Very lightly. Do you see that there? Okay. I'm going to cover my castle. On the inside as well. It's not, we have to make sure we cover everywhere or it just won't look right. Okay, and then the back. Yeah, starting to look a bit more like a castle. Again, take your time with this and it will be fabulous when it's done. Fabulous. This is the fun part of the cake for me. I do like painting. I love painting. It gives me time to relax, but I enjoy the modelling because I don't really get myself. I don't get to do too much of it because my classes are kind of to do with painting, so that's what I focus on, you know. Yeah. See, it's just going over the grey, okay? So you're just picking up different shades. And then I'm putting no black on it sometimes, and I'm just putting vodka on it just to spread out the paint, okay? Make the illusion and the colours of an old building. Okay, on the inside and around, okay? There we go. See there? Make that a little bit darker, okay? I'd even go in with like mostly white with a little bit of black. So gotta do it here. Just white, mostly white, and then like highlight some parts of here, okay? So say, where's the light hitting? Where do I want the light to be hitting this castle? So mostly on the top, okay? Just going into shadows, shadow areas here. And it'll be darker on the inside. So you'd put that nearly black, okay? And darker on the inside of your circles. Light won't really be getting in there, the sun. And then to get your white again. And just on the very top here, the light will be hitting pretty heavily. So you'd even put a little bit of yellow in with that white, okay? Just to give some colour. And a reflection of the sun and the sky, okay? And then don't forget, in the windows are darker, okay? So you just shadow that up, okay? You can see that properly there. So I'm gonna just put my finger, wait until it dries, because obviously my fingers are taking off some of that paint. Be careful and put it aside, okay? So I'm gonna put that aside now for a few minutes. Hold on a second. And you can take off the paint. Look at the schedule. Yeah, 20 minutes. Okay, perfect. Now, I looked at your schedule and your demo is 1.5 hours. You still have 20 minutes for it. Cool. Thank you. Delighted. Yeah, still have time. Got through that pretty fast. I can still go on a bit more about the castle then. Give me a second. Done a few live demos, still getting used to them. Okay, so let's show you here. So that's what the castle will look like when it's dry. So that's what we done there. So we done the tower, we done the little wall, and we done this little cylinder over here, okay? And then all you need to do is do another 2 side walls here. Make whatever you want, a big cylinder up here, okay? Leave it dry, and this is what it will look like. And I just put this on top of modeling, it's like modeling chocolate, you know, so it's a big mound. And then I spray painted it kind of like what, actually exactly like what I done with the castle. I painted darker colours in. I actually used the spray gun, painted it black with the spray gun, or you can use a paintbrush. And then I went over with greys and greens. I just painted a brush, you know, I made some parts darker. So darker green here, darker green here. And then this is, I used some moss. So moss like sponge cake dye green, or whatever way you make your grass, you know. And then with the texture as well, I just used my tin foil and I went in on it there. And then I got a paintbrush and I went, sorry, not a paintbrush, my toothbrush, and I went in on also to get the texture. So I wasn't going to explain that, but I just kind of wanted to explain it there for you, okay? Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Thank you, Carol. I really appreciate it, the feedback, because sometimes when you're just talking to yourself, it's hard to know, you know, you're not getting the feedback from everybody in person. Vivian, good morning. DBs, oh, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Paint on my face, oh, doesn't matter. So we're going to do the, if anybody wants to ask me any questions, because I can actually see it now, okay? Audrey, thank you so much. Go do the rainbow, which I loved to do. I usually use ice malt, but didn't have any ice malt in hand, and I really wanted to make a rainbow, so I decided to use rice paper. If anybody's ever used it before, let me know. I'm quite a beginner with rice paper, but I've been using it a lot the last few weeks, and I'm just loving it. I'm making fish with it, jellyfish. I'm making just patterns, making wings for fairies, wings for dragons. It's a magical medium, and it's it's just quite cheap, and it depends on what country you're in, but here it was only €2, or €1 something for loads of sheets. So I'll show you that now. So this is rice paper. Okay, Nancy, this is great. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate it. So this is the rice paper, and this is what I used for the rainbow. Okay, so we're going to make this now. Let me show you. I have a good demo on my page all about rice paper, and I love talking about it. And it's free, so don't worry, like you don't have to pay for it. But I love talking about rice paper because it's so cheap, and I'm a cheap person. So yeah, so this is what I use to make the rainbow. So let's go ahead with the rainbow. So what you'll need is some warm water. So I'm actually, at the moment my water isn't warm anymore, but I'm just going to pour the water in here. And I'm going to, you need a scissors. And I'm going to cut out the shape of one colour of the rainbow, okay? So, actually, I'm going to just cut out a little bit here. So, where do you buy the rice paper? I got mine, there's a shop in where I live in Ireland, and it's like an Asian shop, so it has like foods from everywhere, and it's amazing, and it was really cheap there, and you get about 50 sheets in it. And then you can get it on Amazon or eBay or so, rice paper. So, you can get it loads of places. In Ireland, you can actually get it just in a normal grocery shop. So just normal grocery shop, there's a section and it's there. So I got mine in what's called Dunn's stores. But yeah, anyway. So I'm going to cut out a little bit here, okay? And when you cut this, you have to be careful because it breaks up. It's very brittle. And I'm going to just dip it into my water. You just put it into your water, okay? I'm just going to put it in for a second, okay? This is my tip to you. Don't cut it when it's dry because it will just break, and it's really hard to manipulate and cut it and it all breaks up. So we're just going to make a shape of a rainbow now. So see, it's much easier to cut and it won't break on you. There. I'm going to make this. This is really thin, but I actually want to make a thicker rainbow, like a longer rainbow for you, so you can see properly. Okay. So we're just cutting out one strip, okay? That's too thick, okay? We're going to make it skinnier. Okay. No, actually, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Okay. So there is my strip. I'm going to put it back in the water for like, how long will I put it in for? For about 20 seconds, not too long. Okay. And let the pattern disappear, okay? I'm just going to place it on my mat there. You don't even have to see this. Just going to place it down. And I'm going to get a wire. A wire. 1 second. A gauge wire. Need a thicker one. Sorry, be back in a second, guys. Okay. So these gauge wires, people use them for sugar flowers. You can get them in any cake shop. This size is, it says size is W32, so it's quite thin. I personally would want you to get a sturdier one. This one's too floppy, okay? So I'd get just two sizes up, which I'm going to look for a thicker one, okay? 1 second. Okay. Okay, so get your gauge wire. This one's a bit stronger. It's not as flimsy, okay, as that one, because we need to be able to stick it into our cake, okay? So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to cut off. Yeah, I want it long, so I want there. And we need 2 sides, okay? This is important because you need to be able to stick the rainbow onto your cake, okay? I'm just going to move this down for a second. Okay. Then on to, so the little strip that we made here, it's going to be hard to see, but remember that strip we made? It's sticky, and this is hard to do. It's because it's fiddly, but you just put it onto your rice paper and you just pinch it together, okay? So I'm just going to show you really fast. So you just pinch the wire onto it and it just sticks to it, so don't worry about it, okay? So that's that, okay? So you stick them down. Now, so the colours to make the rainbow. So what colour do we use for the rainbow? So I'm going to take this out here. So the rainbow is pink, red, yellow, blue, green. So what we need to do is get food colours. So I'll get some over here. So what I would suggest to use is never let your partner set up your table. Because I thought he knew what I needed, but he didn't, so I should have done it. I'm going to start with red, okay? So this is just the PME food colouring gels, okay? So I think we, as cakers, we all have food colouring gels at home, most of us anyway. And just get a little stick, and I'm just going to put just a little dab on it. And I'm going to mix it into the water, okay? Now, I don't want it too dark because I want my rainbow to be very translucent, okay? I'm going to cut off another bit for you. Okay. Just another strip of the rainbow, okay? So in my rainbow there, I think I only done 4 colours, but what is there, 7 colours in the rainbow? I don't know. But just look at the colours, just look at what colours you need on the internet for the rainbow, and what kind of sequence they go in, just in case. See, look this, sticking. I've ruined it. Need to be careful, unlike me, but we'll do it quickly again. It's a messy one now, but when you get the hang of it, you can go fast. So I'm just putting this into my dye, my red colour, okay? It's very fiddly, but when you can get it, the effect is amazing, you know. I'm just going to wait for a few seconds and let that kind of disintegrate. And I'm going to put more red in there, actually, a bit more red. Yeah. Try and get that wafer paper colour dyed there. It's a bit pink, I still want it a bit redder. So if the water's warm, which mine isn't, the colour will kind of stick to the wafer paper better. That's what I found anyway. Some people use cold water, but it just doesn't melt fast enough and the water doesn't adhere to it as fast. So there it is, that's the colour there. I'm going to have to be very careful because I want to be able to finish this for you. I'm going to place it down there. And then I put my wires back on it, okay? Let's forget about that step for one moment and just move on. Okay? So, the next part, I'm going to put out my second part, okay? And this is the part where I'm teaching you how to stick it together. You know, when you're rushing, it's like everything's just breaking on me now. It's like, ah. Yeah. Okay. Now, for my next colour, I'm going to use blue. Is it blue? Is that the next colour in the rainbow? Probably not. So, but I'm just going to do it anyway. Okay, blue. This will be fake magical rainbow. Okay, so usually I'd just clean out that bowl of red because this is going to turn purpley, and I just use blue, okay? So have a few different bowls with you and just get your colours nice and sharp and clean, unlike me. I'm going to dip it into my blue, get the colour on it there. How's everybody getting on where you are? Hopefully well. You're enjoying your day. Enjoying these beautiful, amazing, like, it's great that they're free, isn't it? These demos and tutorials. This is exactly what I needed when I was starting out. Yeah. Okay, so that's not dark enough for me. Want it darker? I'm just going to leave it there for a second. So any questions, fire away. Happy to answer them. Oh, that's good. Yes, I'm learning a lot. That's great, isn't it? It's great to have all this information for free, isn't it? It's like, I would have loved it. Like, but I'm actually learning a lot now over the past 2 months. I'm learning so much from all these demonstrations. It's great. Now, so that's a bit darker there. I'd even go darker if I was doing this, you know, for my own cake, you know. So I'd leave it for a few more seconds. This is the tricky part because we don't want this to fold over too much. And we're just going to, I'm going to put it, I want that darker, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to put it slightly over that one that I have there. This is tricky, guys. Just on the top of that rim, not completely covering it, okay? So, I might use something here to pick it up. Okay, and once you have it just on top of that other red piece of rice paper, it will stick to it, okay? And then once it's dry, just try to get it on top of it because it actually went off it there. So you pick it up with something and get it just slightly on top of the red one you've done previously, okay? You know what, I'm just going to lift it back up again. It's fiddly. Yeah. So they'll be overlapping slightly. Basically, that's what they're doing, okay? So you're just sticking them on together. Okay? And then you're going to do the next colour and then the next colour and you're going to stick them all down. So I'll just keep going so I can give you a rough idea. And don't forget we had our sticks stuck on there too. Okay? Thank you, Elizabeth. I know I'm really happy to be here. I really enjoy teaching, you know. And it's all a learning curve for me too, you know. So I'm just going to stick these back onto the rice paper because then we want to be able to stick it into our cake. So all I'm doing is just folding over the ends of the rainbow rice paper there. And I'm just playing this. It sticks really well. Once it's dry, your rice paper will stick to the sticks really well. I'm just going to cut off the tail end here. Too much. Okay. And then stick on the other end. Okay, and I'm just folding over the wafer paper and that's it. Okay, so Tressa, thank you. I appreciate it, guys. So happy you're enjoying. And then we'll go to the next colour. And then, okay, so wafer paper takes a very long time to dry. It takes, how long did it take? It takes about 24 hours, so you have to do this. Say if you have a cake due it the week before, or a few days before, okay? So it takes about 24 hours to dry. Just put it somewhere, anywhere, just put it to the side on a shelf or something. It'll take 24 hours to dry. If you want to, if it's a display cake, or if it's like a cake that nobody's going to eat the topper. You can eat this, it's not very tasty, but nobody's going to eat the topper. You can even use a hairdryer. Buy a new hairdryer, because I use a hairdryer for a few things in the cakes. So buy a hairdryer that you're not going to use on your hair, basically. So then you can use it on your cake stuff. I tend not to use it at all if I'm giving the cake to somebody, but if I'm doing a competition piece or a piece for a class, I can dry my wafer paper within 5 minutes. You just put it on, not too hot, middle, and it dries in 2 minutes, and then you can move it around and manipulate the shape a bit more. Whereas 24 hours, you just have to let it dry and wait, okay? So I'm going to do yellow now. Get this rainbow done. Please, guys, if you have any questions about cocoa butter painting or the castle or modeling chocolate or paintbrushes, write them in here because I can see some of the comments coming up. So I'm going to use a good bit of yellow here, actually. Mix that into my warm water. Okay. So I'm sure I'm forgetting something. You're welcome, thank you. Okay, I'm going to cut out another strip. I'm kind of going with the grain, with the shape of the rice paper, okay? To make the rainbow. And again, you can make the rainbow as big as you want. So say your cake is a big girl's cake or a boy's cake, whatever, and it's a big, massive rainbow. You can make a massive one and it'd be amazing. I've never made a big one, and I'm actually going to try it because I say it would look so amazing. I say it would blow people away. And you put that on the top of your cake, and it's translucent, so it looks magical and looks like a rainbow. You know, you don't get that with a lot of stuff in the caking world, to get stuff like see-through, you know. Okay. 2. I'm going to dip it in to my yellow. Cocoa butter, 2-layer colour, you wait till first coat is dry. Yes. So what I was saying earlier, you do kind of have to wait. So when you put your cocoa butter down on your fondant or your medium that you're using, it's still quite wet and warm. So wait for a few seconds for it to dry. If you do want to paint over completely, wait until it's completely dry because it will pick up the underneath coat. But if you want to blend them in together, so the layer you have down, you want to blend that in with another colour, wait a few seconds so it's not completely wet, and then you can blend them in together and it won't take the paint off completely, okay? So there's a fine balance that you guys will have to figure out. I can give you the information, but you know, test on some sugar paste or some fondant, test away, and you'll figure it out. So I'm giving you the information, but you know, it's good to test these things. So there's my yellow. You want it a bit more yellow. Okay, there's the yellow. I'm going to move that outside. No, don't. Okay, whatever. 1 second. I'm usually a bit not as messy as this, but at the time, I'm just going to move this out of the way. Try and not get any something stuck on the wafer paper, or more wafer paper stuck on the wafer paper. So the yellow, and I'm just going to stick it on the top. Look, you see, it's kind of twisting on each other, so I'm trying to pull it out there. Okay, and I want to stick it back on, layer it on top of my blue, my purpley blue rainbow there. Just slightly layer it on the top for it to stick. Okay. No, you can't really see it very well there, but I'll push it close in a second, okay? I have to find my other rainbow. Hold on a second, everybody. I took it off my castle, it has disappeared. Okay, but here's an old one that I done, and it's actually a bit broken up now. But it was straight and it had pretty well, but I had it in a box there. So there's the kind of rainbow, and you can make bigger ones, like better shaped ones, okay? So let the one that we made here dry for 24 hours, and then you just pick it up. It's really easy. You pick it up, and the wire will be stuck to the end there. Okay, so look, I won't need this one, but you just have to let that dry there overnight, okay? Okay, it's gone now. So that's what we done there, and you just finished off. You just layer it and stick them together because they stick to each other pretty well, okay? And what you do then is, this is way too big for my castle, mine was smaller, but you just stick on the rainbow, and that's what it will look like, okay? That's your rice paper, okay? So that's the rice paper. There was something I was going to say there about, what was I going to say about the rice paper? Sorry, it's gone out of my brain, but I think it was important. No, it'll come to me. So look, your wire, you need it thick to dig into your modeling chocolate, and it sticks onto it. And once it's dry, it's a bit flimsy, but you just be careful. Just don't touch off anything, okay? Strong enough, okay? So that's the rainbow. Apologies that this is broken off the top. That's just an old rainbow I had lying around, okay? Thank you, everybody. If I can think of anything before I go, I don't want to forget anything. leave you hanging. But if I do, I'll write it up on my page if anyone has any questions about anything. So when I'm finished painting my cow, so what I usually do with a lot of my cakes, this is my trick and I'm giving it away to you, okay? Because I used to paint with oils, okay? And I loved that finish you had when you glazed the cakes, okay? Or glazed the canvas. I like that shine. So it looks like when you're at an art gallery. So whatever you're painting, I came up, well I didn't come up with it. I decided to use, I needed a glaze, an edible glaze. So I just used confectioner's glaze on my cakes. I'm actually going to do it for you really fast. And if you're doing a landscape or anything, it brightens up the colours, it makes them more glossy, and it just makes it look like an oil painting in a museum. So I'm going to show you really fast, okay? Let's move this down here. Okay, so confectioner's glaze. You can buy it at any cake shop. Oh, you can't really see it, but yeah, that's the name, confectioner's glaze. Get your paintbrush, and you just, once the cocoa butter is dry, please don't forget, we need to make the cocoa butter dry. So just wait until the painting's fully dry, or this will ruin your painting, okay? And you just go over your whole painting. This, if you want, people don't like it. You know, if you're taking pictures, maybe there's too much of a shine on it for the pictures. But if in real life, if you're getting the cake, it's absolutely stunning. And I just put a layer or 2 layers of the confectioner's glaze. My page, what's the name of your page for your demos and such? It's written on the live there, it should be. It's Jen's Bakey Cakey, JENSBAKEYCAKEY. Jen's Bakey Cakey. I'm nearly sure that's how you spell it. So that's it. So that's the glaze, and that gives it a shine, makes it look like a oil painting. So, any more questions there? Let's see. I think that's it, guys. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I hope you learned something new today. Yeah, I just hate leaving. I know I have a few more minutes left. I'm not too sure, probably about 5 minutes, but I hate leaving without thinking I've forgot anything. But I think I covered the bases for you to make a castle, a rainbow, and a painting. So, yeah, so thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the demos during the day. I'm going to be watching them all day. I can't wait. Maybe with a glass of wine, we'll see. The kids aren't here now, they're gone to the park. So I have a few hours free. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jennifer. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Take care and enjoy your day. Bye.